Hey everyone, so in this video I will try to quickly review Season 1 and Season 2 of Netflix's Stranger Things. And after watching Season 2, I'm okay if they just stop the series where it's at right now. Because if they make a third season, I am worried that they might repeat the same notes or same beats as Season 2 and Season 1. For example, I don't want them to make Will Byers a victim again of the Upside Down world, and they have to deal with more demi creatures and have Eleven save the day again. And you see what I'm saying? I don't want them to keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. However, I understand it might be entertaining for the viewers to have more of that stuff as well. But I'm just okay with just 2 seasons of the show. I don't think it really needs a third season. It did seem like they were kind of setting up for one with episode 7 of season 2. And I don't want to say episode 7 derailed the entire series for me, but it did seem like it kind of slowed down the momentum of the show to a crawl. It felt like I was watching a reject episode of the X-Men, with episode 7, that is. It just seemed like it took a completely left turn, and it felt like I was watching something else. But luckily, it was only for one episode, and they got things back on track with episode 8 and 9 of season 2, which was fantastic. So to quickly summarize season 1, the story takes place in a small town of Indiana during the 1980s. It revolves around these 4 kids who, I'm just going to read off their first names here, not their last names, but Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will Byers. And Will Byers is the one that ends up going missing, and of course his friends and his mother, of course, are trying to find him. The kids end up running into this little girl with a shaved head, and it turns out that this little girl has powers, and they call her 11 because of the number on her wrist, because she was sort of like a secret science experiment in a secret laboratory in this small town. And at the same time, it revolves around these other characters, Nancy, Jonathan, Joyce Byers, and Jim Hopper, who is the sheriff of the town. And of course, Joyce Byers, the mother of Will Byers, the missing kid. She's not really losing her mind, because she is still kind of communicating with him through the from the upside down world, I guess was what they're calling it, because the way that she's communicating with her is through like lights. He can make like the lights flicker or blink, and so she goes and buys like tons of Christmas lights to try to communicate with her son, and everybody is like, thinks she's crazy and she's losing it. Nobody will believe her, not the sheriff, not her other son. And, she finds out about the Upside Down world and this creature from the Upside Down world called the Demogorgon, or at least that's what the children call it in the show. They call it the Demogorgon. And I would say the thing I like most about season 1 is that it moves at such a good, steady pace. Like, I guess some may argue that it might start off moving at a slow pace, but for me, I thought it moved at a perfect pace, because it gives you time to soak in all of the build-up to the last few episodes with stuff that's going on with this Demogorgon thing and 11 and this whole upside down world, which is like an alternate dimension. And the pacing is fantastic. And when you finally see that the sheriff and the other characters finally find out about this upside down world and actually believe Joyce Byers, it's like finally they believe her, yes. And you kind of, because you're kind of rooting for her. So I would say season 1 is my my preferred season out of the 2. I definitely like it more than season 2. As for season 2, I was unsure where they were going with it when they brought in like this baby Demodog, which was I found to be very weird. It made me hate Dustin, that's for sure, because I was like, oh my god, what is this kid doing? He's taking in this creature from an alternate dimension, and he's going to get everyone killed. Yeah, Dustin, well, I would say just the way he was written made me kind of hate his character for season 2. But I would say his chemistry between what's the other kid's name? It was the kid that was the or teenager, I should say, that was the boyfriend of I can't remember. Oh, Nancy. It was the boyfriend of Nancy from season 1. And he was sort of like a douchebag in season 1, but season 2, he was sort of likable. Steve. It was Steve, I think. Yeah, Steve and Dustin were great together. Just them trying to hunt down the Demodog, and just certain dialogue that was exchanged between those two about this new girl in the season 2 that Dustin likes. And Steve was telling him about, hey, you shouldn't love girls at your age. They'll just break your heart and stuff like that. I thought it was great. And yeah, I was just very unsure where season 2 was going until more started to get revealed about like this giant creature from the Upside Down world, which the kids called the Mind Flayer or whatever. And it kind of, it doesn't really take over Will. It's sort of like spreading, I guess you could say. Like part of him is in Will Byers, and like the rest of him is kind of like spreading into the real world because he's trying to merge the Upside Down world with the real world. And it was getting intense, the stuff that was happening with Will Byers and this whole Mind Flayer thing. And I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. I want to still watch the show to see where this is going. And then came episode 7, which made me go, WTF. It wasn't like terrible, but it kind of made me go, what am I watching right now? Can we just get back to the stuff that's happening in that small town? I don't want to see this little side adventure that 11 is going on with all these group of misfits and this other character that has powers because she's from the same laboratory as 11. But when they finally got back on track with things, it definitely kicked things up to 11 because, I made a pun and I didn't even know it. Sorry for that. That pun was not intended. But yeah, it definitely kicked things up to 11 with the tense moments inside the laboratory, them escaping the laboratory, Joyce Byers wanting to get this Mind Flayer thing out of Will Byers. That was pretty intense. And of course, the kids, along with Steve, trying to, I guess, help out in a way by stopping the spreading of this Mind Flayer, because it's mentioned in season 2, like this thing is spreading from the alternate dimension like a virus in a way. It's kind of like a virus. And 11 goes down there with her, I guess, adopted father, Jim Hopper, because in the beginning of season 2, it's been revealed that he was keeping her around the whole time. Like, I don't know how long it's been. I think it's been like a year or 2, or maybe even more, because her hair is grown out. She no longer has the shaved head. And he's sort of acting as a father to her, because it was revealed in season 1 that he had a daughter that he lost. So I guess he sees her as a daughter figure in a way. So he goes down to this pit, I guess, that leads to the Upside Down world, or I don't know, maybe it's just like a really big underground pit that was in that laboratory that they go down, and she has to stop the Mind Flayer. Meanwhile, Joyce is helping by getting part of the Mind Flayer out of Will, and meanwhile, the kids are helping out stop the Mind Flayer from spreading as well. So everybody is playing like a major part here. But yeah, season 2 was alright, I would say. Like, if I would have to give it a score, I would have to give it maybe... I would have to give it maybe 8.5. And out of 10, that is. 8.5 out of 10. Season 1, I would give a solid 9. Yeah, I would have just been fine with Season 1 if they wouldn't, like, never made Season 2. Yeah, I would have been perfect with just one season of Stranger Things. But of course, you know, the show became a huge success, so they made Season 2, and I can't lie and say I wasn't curious. I mean, I did want to, you know, watch the entire season of Season 2, and I wasn't sure where they were going with it at first until more started to get revealed, and I was like, okay, I'm intrigued again. And then came episode 7, which was like, what the hell am I watching right now? And I mean, I knew exactly what episode 7 was. They were setting up for a possible season 3 or beyond that, because they are trying to expand the universe pretty much. But yeah, episode 8 and 9, which was very, very intense, and I loved it. But yeah, I would just give it a solid 8.5, and season 1 definitely a 9 for me. So yeah, that's been my short review. Sorry I couldn't get into more in-depth stuff. Like, I know in season 2 they have like new actors. There's like this character named Bob, who is like the new love interest for Joyce, and the new father figure for Will as well. Who else they brought in? They brought in like this redheaded girl who they call Mad Max. Well, her name's like Maxine, but they call her Max for short. They got the name Mad Max from the arcade machines in season 2 because she beat everyone's high score, and she just put down her initials or her name as Mad Max on their arcade machine. And there's her brother Billy, who plays like the new douchebag in the show. So yeah, those are just a few other new characters that I might have forgot to mention earlier on in the video. And yeah, I just wanted to hurry up with this review. I didn't want to get too in depth with everything and make this like a 20-minute long video. But yeah, it's a great show. Oh yeah, also another thing I loved about it is that it got very spooky. The show got very spooky. Like in season 1, like whenever a jump scare was about to happen, I saw it coming from a mile away, and I was like, alright, you know, I could see this is getting kind of creepy, and they're trying to make it spooky and everything. And like, I wasn't really scared until like later on, like the later episodes in season 1, that is, and season 2 made things even creepier. So yeah, it's another thing I like about the show. Alright, so thanks for listening to this review. Sorry if this went on for too long anyways. I was trying to keep this at least under 10 minutes long. I'll see what I could do in post-editing. Alright, thanks for watching, or thanks for listening, rather. See you guys later.